A stranger in the wardrobe. I'm Jamie, a 19-year-old girl who loves spending her summer holidays babysitting. Although babysitting is typically an effortless job that pays well and lets me enjoy the company of lovely children, my most recent gig turned out to be the most terrifying experience I have ever had. It was a warm evening when I received a call from a family in a close neighborhood, asking me to babysit their 6-year-old daughter, Camilia. The parents were going on an urgent work trip that could not be delayed, so they needed someone to look after Camilia during the night. As the sun began to set, I reached the residence. The locality was calm, with scarce noises of children playing in the distance. The house was quite spacious, with a sizable garden and lofty pine trees surrounding it. As I walked in, the parents greeted me, introduced me to Camilia, and explained to me that she unfortunately had a fever, and if I could monitor Camilia's health status and ensure she stayed hydrated by checking her regularly. The night started out like any other babysitting job. Camilia was asleep in her room, and I was downstairs just settling in on the couch, flipping through the TV channels to find something to watch. It was a quiet night in the house, and the only sound was the soft hum of the air conditioner. Suddenly, Camilla's screams tore through the peaceful atmosphere. My body trembled with a frightened sensation as I sprinted toward Camilla's room. Upon arrival, I saw her lying on the bed, her face covered with fear and tears cascading down her cheeks. She whispered through sobs that a woman was hiding in her wardrobe, watching her with wide, unblinking eyes. I reassured her that it was just a bad dream, and checked the wardrobe with a touch of trepidation, finding nothing inside. I left the wardrobe open and turned on the baby monitor the family still used to keep an eye on Camilia from the living room. As I sat back down to watch TV, I started to feel uneasy. Camilla's cries had shaken me up, and now I couldn't shake off the feeling that something was off. My unease only grew stronger when I saw on the baby monitor that the wardrobe doors were now closed, although I was pretty certain I left them open for Camilia to feel safe. I could even see them slightly open and then close again, as if someone was peeking through. Suddenly, I saw a shape of what appeared to be an arm from between the slightly open doors, like someone, was wanting to come out. My heart started racing, and I froze in fear. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I crept toward Camilla's room, trying to act normal and not attract any attention just in case whoever or whatever might be in there would notice. As I opened the door, I could feel my heartbeat increasing with each passing second. As my eyes gradually adjusted to the darkness, I could start to see a murky figure lurking inside the wardrobe, moving side to side ever so slightly. With mounting terror, it dawned on me that there indeed may be a woman concealed within, watching Camilia, just like she said. As I stood there, peering through Camilla's door, which had direct eyesight to the wardrobe door, the woman finally appeared. This time deciding to exit the wardrobe and proceed closer to Camilla's bed. She was terrifying. She was pale, with long dark hair that cascaded down her back. Her eyes were sunken and hollow, and they bore into mine with a crazed intensity as she saw me outside the door. I jumped back in fear. However, I knew I had to enter the room to protect Camilia. As I entered, body shaking, knees weak, the woman started talking to me, but I could barely hear her words over Camilla's frightened cries upon waking to see her at the foot of the bed. The woman's voice got louder, claiming to be Camilla's mother and accusing the owners of the house of kidnapping her when she was young. I took a deep breath, trying to steady myself, and approached the woman slowly. "Please, calm down," I said, trying to speak over Camilla's crying. "No one has kidnapped anyone. This family has been in this house for years, and we have no idea who you are." The woman continued to rant, but I couldn't make out what she was saying. I could see the desperation in her eyes, and I knew that she believed what she was saying was true. "Listen," I said, trying to reason with her. "This is not your home. We are both very scared, so can you please leave?" She stood there, slowly softening her words until she fell silent. "Let's call the police and sort this out," I said. That insanely seemed to increase the woman's frustration. I knew I had to act fast. I grabbed Camilla and made a run for the door, but the woman tackled me and tried to take her from me. I fought back with all my strength, kicking and screaming until I managed to break free and run out of the house. Camilla in my arms, I managed to pull my phone out of my pocket as I was running from the house and called the police. I hid behind a tree about 200 meters from the house, staring back at it while we waited for the police to arrive. The police arrived a few minutes later, and we explained what had happened. They searched the house, but there was no sign of the woman. They told us that she was probably a squatter who had been living in the abandoned house nearby and had somehow made her way into the family's home. As we drove away from the house in the back of the police car, I looked back at it one last time, feeling a sense of relief wash over me. But as we turned the corner, I saw that woman standing on the side of the road, staring at us with those same wild eyes. I gasped in horror, and the police officers quickly turned the car around, ready to apprehend her. But when we got back to the spot where we had seen her last, she was gone. I knew then that she was still out there, lurking in the shadows. I shuddered at the thought and hugged Camilla closer. After a few days of searching the neighborhood, the police finally found the woman. She was mentally disturbed and had been indeed living in a nearby abandoned home. The incident left me shaken to the core. Every time I think back to that night, I can still feel my heart racing and my skin crawling. The memory of the woman's terrifying stare and her desperate attempt to take Camilla from my arms would stay with me. It's a memory that will haunt me for the rest of my life.